Hello folks, it's Peter Elgar from Brentwood, Essex, England. Back again on YouTube. This time I've got a new eye done. So I've had both my eyes done now. Wonderful. I can see the focus of my cameras, but I had to have a patch over it and I've got to put drops in all that business. But at least I can see a bit better. So I'm going to talk about something today which I don't think I've mentioned before. That is the Nikon PB-5 close-up focusing bellows attachment and how to use it. So it comes in a box, as you can see, very posh. Everything Nikon is always posh, isn't it? There's the actual bellows attachment, and we've got an instruction book. Of course, there we are. You always read the instructions, but it can be a bit technical, so we'll see if we can help out how to use it. Now, you attach a camera to one end and you attach the lens to the other end, and then as you rack it out you get very close to the subject and you get fantastic magnifications. So with the Nikon it's bayonet, and if you've got an older Nikon such as the FE, it doesn't have any protruding bits here on the top. But if you've got a more modern Nikon such as an F75, you've got a hand grip there, and you've got where the flash comes out, you've got a big bump there, so it's very difficult to get that onto your bellows attachment at the back. I have done it, but it takes a bit of time. So I have used it with a Nikon FG because I got through the lens flash metering and I've taken some nice pictures. There is an FG, and it doesn't have any protruding bits on the top there. So you rack it out till it's very close to the end, and then on the side here there's a little red dot which I did see with my new eyeball. It's now vanished. A little red dot to show you which way up it is. Oh, here it is at the top. So you put a little red dot to the bayonet fitting here of your camera, and then see if we can bayonet that on now. Very gently, always don't force anything, very gently. See if we can bayonet that on now. It's not easy to get here. No. Struggling a bit now. I put a red dot to the red dot, red dot to the red dot. See if we can. Ah, there we are. Ah, that's it. Now, if you want to take vertical picture with the camera vertical, there's a little lever here. You press that in and you can turn the whole thing round. It's very stiff, so I don't want to force anything, but we'll take horizontal pictures at the moment. So there's a Nikon FG on the end. Now, when you come to take pictures normally with an ordinary lens, like this 50mm 1.8 here, it's on your Nikon camera, like that. What is known as the front node is this bit, and that goes to the subject, and that is quite a long way off. The closest you can get is 0.45 of a metre, isn't it? When you rack it right out, yeah, 0.45 of a metre. That's about that distance is the closest you can get with your Nikon lens. As normally you take a picture at infinity and 15 feet, 20 feet away. And the rear node is the distance from that lens there to the film plane. That's a very short distance. Now when you are doing macro work, the front node is now shorter than the rear node because you're so close to the subject. So what you have to do for best results, because especially this lens is not made for close-up work, you have to reverse it. And there's a little adapter provided which you screw in to your 52mm filter thread, like that, and then you bayonet that onto the front of your Nikon bellows unit. Now, are there any little dots? I can't see any little dots, which is the correct way around here, so we just have to try it and see if we can get it to go. Now, what I found is the best thing is to put the unit in first, bayonet in first. Here we are, it's clicked. Then screw your lens in, because if you try and bayonet it on, it all unscrews. So now there's a 50mm lens, and you can get fantastic close-ups of a gnat's eyebrow when it's as much as that. Normally you don't have it racked out as much as that, you have it it's much shorter distance on the bellows. But the working distance is extremely short. So for best results, use a longer focal length lens. Here is the 105mm 2.5 lens, and we can put that on. I've done some pictures with that. Screw that into your reverse adapter. Now this has had a ding. My wife banged it, so we hopefully, a camera club member, managed to unding it, but it is a bit difficult to screw in, but it's slightly damaged. There. Then we now got the 105mm lens reversed on the front. So what about settings? Now, I've taken some shots with through the lens flash metering, because this Nikon has through the lens flash metering. And I've used my Macro-Bellows with a Nikon module, which is that hanging at the bottom there. And you screw your Nikon, put your Nikon module into the hot shoe of your camera, and it's like that. Even with my new eyes, it's not that easy to do. Then you can happily flash away with the camera on automatic, and the flash will use through the lens metering to give you the right exposure. Because you're using very small apertures when you're taking pictures, otherwise you don't get enough depth of field, of course. Very, very shallow depth of field. It all works well. The camera and flash work together to set the correct synchronization speed, which for this camera is a 90th of a second. And it works well. I've done some nice pictures with that, with the Macro-Bellows and the Nikon module. So, there's a lot of attachments you can get. You can get another one for putting on the front here for slide copying. So I've never done any slide copying because I don't do many slides now. But there we are. That is the Nikon PB-5, and I'll show you some pictures what I've done with it. This was done with the flash, through the lens flash. That is that's the top of a tangerine with the pip here, the very top of the tangerine. Then I cut it in half, and I see what it looks like. That's the macro bit of it cut in half like that. Very, very close up indeed. Then there's the top of a perfume bottle I've done here. That was taken with the flash, and I diffused the flash because that's all metal. A metal facets on the top of a perfume bottle. Yeah, I put a diffuser on the flash, and through the lens flash metering came out very well exposed. Then there's a picture of cotton with a needle thread. That's in close up. Look at that. Then there's a picture of King Charles III 50p coin. Now that is difficult to take. It's not absolutely perfect because with flash you can't see what you're getting. You have to guess the lighting, and I guessed a diffusing system, but it's not absolutely perfectly lit. So there's a Macro-Bellows. So with the other ones here, with the grip and this protruding bit, you have a bit of trouble getting that on the back of the bellows attachment here. We'll see if we can put that on quickly, just out of interest, to see if I can put it on without breaking anything. Don't want to break anything. I'm gonna there, see, you can see much protruding and stuff. You've got to find that red dot. I have done it once, but it's not easy to get it lined up because the hand grip protrudes. It's extremely difficult lining it up. No, the older Nikons work much better than these modern ones with the protruding bits. You can't, because it fouls down the bottom here. It fouls up, and it's very difficult indeed fitting it on. We'll see if we can. I have done it, but no, because I don't want to damage the mount of the camera, so I'll leave it alone for the moment. But when you rack it out, if you don't have through the lens flash metering, because you're racking it out, you're losing an awful lot of light, and the normal exposure settings don't apply unless you have through the lens metering, which will do the calculations for you. If you have a camera without through the lens metering, a very old camera, and you have to use a separate meter, you've got to calculate yourself the bellows extension distance, and you square that, divide it into the focal length of your lens squared. So that is what I used to do before I had TTL metering. It gave me the factor by which I increased the exposure. Bellows extension squared divided by the focal length of your lens squared in millimeters. So I measured it with a tape measure in millimeters, and you've got to do a bit of mathematics. You end up with a huge exposure increase because you've moved out the lens so far away from the normal position. There we are, folks. These are not easy to use, but with a bit of practice you can get some quite acceptable snaps. So that's a little bit on the PB-5 bellows. Hope you've enjoyed it, and see if we can do another one when I can switch this off later on. Hoping my eyes will get better.